Let's get started. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, my fellow Earth projectors? My name is Windscar 267, and welcome to a special video, an 8,000 subscriber video. I'm just gonna call this an 8,000 subscriber video, and I thought you guys might want to know about my life. Basically, people have been criticizing, saying that, well, one person saying that I've been hiding my name because I don't want stalkers and everything. Well, I'm gonna get it all out. Well, it's time to introduce myself, guys. Welcome to my story. All right, where do I begin? All right. Well, my name is Dale. My name is Dale Booth. Some of you guys will know me as Wind or Windscar or Windscar 267, whatever you guys want. I was born in the 1990s, May 27th, 1990, and I was born in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. I'm trying to just bear with me. I lived there. I lived in Kamloops for a good 2 months after I was born, and then I came to a town called Kelowna. And then for the longest time, me and my family lived in a condo. Me and my parents lived in a condo for a couple of years. I do not remember how many years. All I know is this is a little bit of a story I do not know, and I'm trying to piece together. So I've lived in this condo for the last couple of years with my family, and at the age of 3, I had a brother. I had a brother named Ryan Booth. He was my first brother. I was a little bit jealous of him because basically he was getting more attention than I was. So after that, I was a little bit jealous. My parents told me this, but yeah. At the age of 4, I started getting my first memories. I have to say, because I don't remember anything past a certain point. So I'm just trying to piece everything together. So I'm just going to start at age 4 here. So at age 4, I started getting my first memories. And at the beginning of my first memories, all I remember is going down an alleyway, going to daycare. And this was actually at age 4. So I was a little bit of a handful for my parents because I had I was born with a disability. I was born with a mental disability that none of us knew until the age of 4. It kind of developed a little bit over time. It was no one's fault. Basically, it was genetic. My mom has it, and I have it. My brothers don't. Was actually, it kind of sucks. My brother's normal. And I had to live with this kind of disability. The disability is well known and well common. It's called ADHD, which is called Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. So I didn't understand this because I also had multiple disabilities. I had a learning disability, I had ADHD, and I had a social disability as well, which I can't overcome for some stupid ass reason. Anyways, as I grew older, getting I was 4, and like I said, I'm trying to remember as best as I can, guys. I went to multiple. I went to like at least 4 different preschools. I went to one that was by my house. I went to the one on Belgo Road. I can't remember the rest, but I know I went to. No, sorry, I do remember another one. According to my parents, I went to one before I started getting my first memories. And I have some hot chocolate here, guys, so I will be drinking that little by little. Thought I should actually relax and everything to tell you, so you guys know about my story. So anyway, there is a catechism. There is a preschool that I used to go to that was on Leith Head. I can't remember the name, but it was a half church, half preschool kind of a place. So that's all I know about this stuff. I was a little bit of a troubled child, as my parents told me. So I had social issues with the other children in the preschools. That's probably why I actually kept moving to different preschools, because I had so many issues. At the age of 4, I started going to school. And I bet you're wondering, why are you going at the age of school when you're supposed to be at the age of 4? Because I was born in May, and my parents decided to put me in the school year at this time. If I didn't go at the school time, basically some of my story wouldn't make sense. Anyways, at the age of 4 in September, I started going to a school called Black Mountain Elementary School. And I had a wonderful kindergarten teacher that actually literally took her time to actually just have the time and patience for me. It was amazing. Her name was Mrs. Jenkins. I don't remember her first name, but her name was Mrs. Jenkins, and she was the best kindergarten teacher I've ever had. There were 2 different kindergarten teachers, and she was one of the best. And I loved it. She had a guitar. She played guitar every single week. It was absolutely amazing. It wasn't long for when there was an older student that was there, and I thought, and I was basically a social. I was basically a social person, not much of a social person, but I went to introduce myself to this one person. His name is Brian Jones. He was my best friend throughout the years. Well, we're still best friends throughout the years. I call him my kindergarten friend. Friends for life, basically. We keep in touch. He's moved away, but we keep in touch. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself at the moment, like basically 20 years ahead of myself. Anyways, over the years, me and Brian had the same disability. I did not learn this until later on in life. Me and him had the same disability, so we both helped each other. Throughout the years. In kindergarten, I did so many activities. It was awesome. Me and him were inseparable, kind of thing. We both just helped each other. He helped me fit in, and I helped him become who he is today. Which, to be honest, I don't remember what I did back then, so it's kind of hard for me to put this all together for you guys. Anyways, in grade 11, I was starting to become a little bit of a a little bit of a trouble child again. I've been I had a teacher named Mrs. Thompson. If I remember that correctly, it was Mrs. Thompson. She was one of my best teachers I ever had. She was patient with me as well. She knew the situation that I was in. I didn't know the situation. I barely knew what the situation. I barely understand what was going on back then. So some of the kids were picking on me as well back then, but that's another story for later. For later on in this video. Anyways, later on, I've been basically grade 1, but with the quickest year I ever had. And what I mean by quickest, I mean like I've been getting stuff done faster and getting into trouble, and it was a fun year. Let's just say that it was a fun year. One time I actually got in trouble by some stupid ass reason I cannot remember, and I was sent to a timeout in the corner kind of thing. And here's the one thing you don't want to do when someone is giving you a timeout. You don't want to put a deuce on your head. You had to put this little cone on your head. It said deuce. Oh, sorry, it's a dunce or something, and I had that on my head. And here's the one thing you don't do. You put that troubled child in the corner with the fire alarm, yeah, you're going to get in some trouble. So, you can probably guess what I did, right? Just to get out of timeout. Just to get out of fucking timeout, I pulled the fire alarm. It was one of my best moments of all time. For when I was a kid, that is. Best moments of all time. So, you can understand why he did it. It was awesome for me to do that. So, I got into more trouble for that, but yeah. Whatever, right? I was just a kid. You can't blame me. I was mad. I was upset. I was grumpy, and it was just like bang, bang. Just pulled the fire alarm. I bet it got a lot of people out of a math test. Anyways, joking aside, I went to go see the principal, and yeah, I was kind of suspended for a few days, but it was fine. Anyways, as I grew older, grade 2, not very much happened there. Grade 3, I had a disabled teacher that was very, very kind and very generous. Her right hand was literally nothing. It was just basically just a nub. All she had was a thumb. And kind of like this, it was just like this. She had no fingers. She had like a little thumb, and I didn't see anything different about her. The only thing was that she was that thumb, and I didn't find that weird. I didn't find that weird at all. I felt sorry. I literally felt sorry. Me and in grade 3, I actually started going to some speech classes and some other classes that I barely remember, but it's just, I had classes for speech, social, and sometimes I had to miss out on a lot of things just because of my disability. So that was tough for grade 3, I can tell you that. But grade 3 was actually really nice. Mrs. Froze was actually a really good teacher. I forgot to mention that that she, I forgot to mention her name, Mrs. Froze. So she was the best teacher I actually had. She was the strangest teacher, but she was the best. Actually, all my teachers were the best. I'm going to keep saying that throughout my videos, so sorry about that, guys. So, I had a person come in. I don't remember what her name was. It's been so long. I'm gonna see if I can try to remember, but she helped me with my speech. She helped me with my speech. She taught me how to talk. She basically did a lot of things for me. Me and my friend Brian. Me and Brian were starting to, like, literally become good friends and starting to become, like, going to each other's houses and everything like that. In grade 3, and we started hanging out lots. Basically in grade 3, no. Was it grade 3 or grade 4? No, that'll be grade 4. My fault. Anyway, grade 3 was a little bit hard because I had to learn how to talk, how to learn all these math and all this new math. I didn't understand it. So in grade 4, I had someone come, and in grade 4, someone came in and basically gave me and Brian a brand new, like some kind of help, I should say. But I did actually forget to mention, in grade 2, I actually got a baby brother named Brandon Booth. It was actually amazing. Me and my brothers, all 3 years apart. Basically, it was awesome. I had brothers that basically I could play with and help along the way, but that mostly didn't quite happen as well as I hoped it would, but that's something for later. Anyway, this is my life, not theirs, and I'm trying to tell you guys about my life. This video will be long. Anyways, back in grade 4, I had a CEA. I don't understand what CEA means. To this day, I still don't understand what CEA even means. But, sorry about that. I could have looked it up before I started this video, but I didn't think about it. That's one of my learning disability problems. Anyways, I had a CEA named Mrs. Kelly, and she was actually one of the best. She was one of the best CEAs I actually had throughout the rest of my elementary school days. Looking back now, it's just amazing. Amazing how I lived and everything. Anyway, in grade 4, I got my first skateboard, and I still have that skateboard today. Actually, I still have it. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll show you guys. All right, I'm back. I got my first skateboard when back in grade 4. This still works and everything. It's absolutely amazing how old this skateboard is. And back when I was in grade 4, a series started, and I got really into it. It was, well, 2 series started, but one series I got really, really into, and it was Pokemon. Yes, I still have this. This is actually one of the original skateboards for Pokemon, and but the paint and everything, the decal and everything got torn off. But it is what it is. I don't mind it. I didn't snap it in half. It still works perfectly fine. It's what I'd love to give it to my child, but I guess it is what it is. my life it is what it is, but I don't really care. Anyway, I had issues with my skateboard back then as well. I brought it in for show and tell one day and showed everyone the skateboard, and if I remember correctly, I tried doing some tricks of my own, and I tried learning some tricks. I never actually learned how to do any tricks over time, so yeah, that's kind of sad for me. Like I said, learning disability really hurts. So I accidentally hit. Well, a few times I lost the skateboard got misplaced. Once the teacher took it, and I accidentally left it outside. But skateboard's still fine. Skateboard. If this skateboard could talk, the memories it would have with it, absolutely amazing. Anyway, now Mrs. Kelly actually helped me with all my grade 4 stuff, like math, spelling. Still have some trouble spelling right now, as you guys can tell. And it was tough for grade 4, for sure. I was getting frustrated with grade 4. I was getting picked on. A new student came in at grade 5 and just completely picked on me lots. I didn't like it. So it was definitely tough back then. But I guess all childhood basically it always is tough. I was actually a really nice kid. I was friendly to everybody. I was making friends, and I was just a normal kid playing, and a lot of kids started to pick on me because I had help. They were jealous that I had a helper, but they didn't understand. They did not understand why I was being helped. Anyway, let's continue the story. In grade 4, I believe that would be 1998. I believe I have to think about it, or 1997. No, I believe it would be 1998. Yeah. I actually was what's it called? I got my first computer. It wasn't my computer. It was my parents. They let me play on it. I had so many games on the computer. It was fun. I had Lego Island. I had Sims Theme Park. I had a game called Sim. I think it was it was a ski resort. I know that for sure. Build your own ski resort, Sim Ski Resort. I don't know. It was definitely like a build your own ski resort. So back then, we had a custom computer, a little bit of a custom computer, and I didn't understand. And when Windows 98 came out, I was very interested in it. I was completely fond of this kind of technology. How I was able to access the internet. How I was able to move the mouse. Like, I was fascinated with everything that basically the computer had to offer. So I spent my entire days literally on the computer. And it had calculator, it had Minesweeper, Paint. Windows 98 was the best operating system I actually remember to this day. And my grandparents had a computer as well, but it was like a DOS. It was an MS DOS computer. It had some pretty cool games, like Wheel of Fortune and Police and Bricks. Like it's not bricks. It's not spelled with BICK. It's actually spelled with BIX. So, yeah, that was actually a really fun game. It was going around shooting aliens. It was fun. It was definitely fun. I was passionate about computers back then that I am today as well. So that's the beginning of my how I became a computer technician a little bit. Well, personal computer technician. I only know the certain basics of it, how to build it. So over time, I just learned how to build more and more computers. A long time ago, on this, a year after, this is in grade 5, a guy named Maurizio Roselli was transferred into the school, and he was absolutely a bully. He would pick on me. He would literally just give me scrapes and bruises. And I was absolutely terrified. Grade 5 was actually a horrible year for me a little bit. But I also was a good year for me as well. Because I had a teacher named Mr. Mr. Alec. Something like that. And me and this teacher actually had a really good relationship, like student and teacher wise kind of thing. He would actually he offered me a monitor position for the computer lab. Back then, students were able to become computer monitors. Not like the monitor that you see in front, like actually like the computer supervisor kind of thing. But back then it was called computer monitors. And we would actually watch over. We had to get up really, really early in the morning, about like 6 o'clock, just to actually get ready for school, because we had to be there by 7:30. We had to be at school by 7:30. I had to get up and walk to school. My mom and dad had a really tough time just to keep our financial stuff going. My dad was literally working for a company called Canada Bread, and my mom was working for Cooper's Foods, way out in the Mission area of Kelowna. And it was tough. We were definitely struggling little by little. So, what's our little struggles? We stayed as a family. We did stay as a family. So, my mom and dad were not home all the time. My mom was mostly at work. We were babysitted by my grandmother. My dad was always home in the afternoon. He would always be the one to cook everything, and it was definitely tough. Definitely tough. So, anyway, in grade 5, I got bullied a lot. And they invented a new game called Stay Away From Me. And if I touched them, it would be like cooties kind of thing. I thought it was a game. I just touched him, but he would actually. I thought it was fun. For me, I thought it was fun. It was like definitely fun for me because I got to pick and torment everyone else as well. But Maurizio wouldn't have it. He would definitely bully me a lot, and technically I didn't like it. So one day, I had a little bit of I was upset one day, and I took it out on one of my friends. His name is Jeff Jenkins. This happened in grade 6. I punched him in the glasses. I had enough. I literally had enough of the bullying. So, but my friend was always there for me. I can tell you that. Me and my friend would always be there for each other, and I just didn't know how to cope with the bullying, that's all. Got some good hot chocolate. Anyways, in grade 6, I was still working in the computer monitors. I always would sign up for that every time that we switched positions and everything. I would always sign up for it because that was a passion. It was absolutely awesome. In grade 6, I got a little bit of I had a magic. I haven't thought about this for a long time. There was this thing called Scholastic, I believe it was called, and there was this one cool thing that I asked my parents for, and they got it for me. It was absolutely cool. It was a little bit of a magic. It was a magic box. It would teach me how to do magic a little bit, but it was a little bit tough. It was definitely tough. I remember some of the basics of it, like where the ball would actually be, where I can actually just hold the ball in my hand, and then it would turn into 2 balls, and it was actually so cool. I have to admit, it was actually really cool. It would teach me the basic of it, but I was more passionate with the computer than the magic. But it was definitely fun. I had that for a while. And when in grade 6, when I punched him, there was a little bit of a consequence. I had to suffer a little bit. I had to suffer through one field trip missed. Still regret it to this day. Still regret it to this day. And every time I hear that name, I still regret not going. Hell, even my ex-girlfriend went, and I couldn't. I still can't take it to this day. Every time someone goes there, I'm just like, oh, you're lucky. I never had the experience. It was called, the field trip was called Silver Lake. We would go to Silver Lake and spend spend the day or a few days. I think, it was a few days there, but I never got the chance to go. I never had the chance of going to Silver Lake and everything. So I wish I still had that experience, but the time that the grade 6ers were actually at Silver Lake, I had to do work around the school. Like, literally, I literally did work. Like, not homework, like, not schoolwork, but literally work around the place. Like, I had to clean the computer lab. I had to put dirt in the fields. Well, not like that. Like, literally, like, kind of like a baseball field. I had to pushing. I had to grab the dirt out of the wheelbarrow and put it on the ground where the dugouts, where the baseball field was. Had to redo the baseball field, and that was absolutely tough for me. Basically, I still regret it to this day. But it was a life well learned, that's for sure. Over time, I keep getting upset from it, but I cope. It's my fault. It was my fault. Anyways, I was glad that my CEA was there just to help me with with everything, but my friend Brian went, and I didn't have it. In grade 6, I was in. Actually, I totally forgot about the part of the story. Back in grade 3, I actually started going to something called Scouts. Well, Beavers was called. It was one thing below Scouts. And I went to Beavers, and we made birdhouses and everything like that. And then I started to go to Scouts as well afterwards. I had another friend that came in. I totally forgot about him too. I'm trying to remember as best I can, guys, okay? Just bear with me. This is all through my elementary years. I had a friend as well. He was one of my best friends as well. Actually, all my friends were best friends. Everyone I actually adored and loved. So, one time when I went to Scouts, I went on a camping trip. That was fun. It was a weekend away from school and parents and everything. It was fun, but something happened. I didn't get in trouble or anything. We were all playing a game of tag. I went across the river that we weren't supposed to be. It was just a little creek. It was literally like ankle deep. That was it. It's ankle deep. It wasn't that deep and everything. So I went across, and I turned around. Didn't know there was anyone behind me. I turned around, and I was looking at the kids that were chasing me, that were playing tag. I was like, "What? You guys not come and get me?" They were literally terrified with the water. So, but the kid that was chasing me, his little brother, came up behind me, pushed me into the river. I lost my balance, and I broke my left hand. I didn't know what happened. The kid, as soon as I turned around, the kid was gone. He pushed me and ran off. Like, what kind of kid would do that? Like, thanks for nothing. So I had to literally go to the counselor that was in charge and tell him my hand felt so much pain, and I went to the river. So my parents were called, and they took me home. After a while, my hand started swelling up like this. My hand started swelling up. So we went to the hospital for a good 5-6 hours. And after they did an X-ray on my hand, and I can still feel it a little bit. And apparently the bone was severed right here. The bone was severed right there from my finger. My hand was broken. I was glad I was right-handed, not left-handed, but that was tough for me in grade 4, and the kid came back. Apparently, I found out that the kid's brother was actually the kid that pushed me into the river's brother was actually that went to my school. So I was good. I was the I was also the equipment manager as well for grade school, for elementary school as well. I would go volunteer, do a whole bunch of give kids their equipment like snow, basketball, football, dodgeball, soccer, magic carpet. That's what we called it. But it was like a sled kind of thing. It was a really thin sheet of plastic that you just ride down the hill with during the winter time. But it was fun. The kid's brother came back up and said, "Hey, look, I'm sorry for what my brother did to you, and I feel terrible that my brother did it to you." And I told him, "Hey, it was no problem, man. I'm glad that you apologized for your brother. He was a good kid, and I'm glad that he apologized, because I guess I would have forgot about it a long time ago if I didn't think about it." Anyway, back to the main story. In grade 7, I was more picked on because it was middle school. I went to a school called Spring Valley Elementary School. Oh, went too far ahead, actually. And it's great. Let's go back to grade 6. Grade 6, we all went to a year field trip. Every year, the school would get grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to a water park called Mariner's Reef. Mariner's Reef was a cool theme park, water park, and it had tube rides, two double racing slides. It was just straight down and right into the water. It was just absolutely fun. Anyway, back to grade 6. We went to Mariner's Reef, and Maurizio came up to me and started picking on me again. It was like, "Hey, why don't we just be friends? And how about if I treat you to some candy?" I literally had, back then I didn't know that I had the crest of light, because I was very kind and very generous. So I gave most of my I bought so much candy for these guys, and I shared it with them. They told me that I was a cool guy, and they were sorry for all the picking and teasing that they did for over the years. And I said, "Don't worry about it. It's all in the past." So we all became friends. He stopped picking and tormenting me, so it was actually awesome. My life got a little bit better after that. But when middle school came, I started getting more bullied as well. But it was as it was. It is as it is. Middle school came around, and I started getting picked on and teased again. But Maurizio, Brian, and other people that I met helped me a lot. I had a CEA. I had multiple classrooms. I was terrified that basically I wasn't going to remember all these classes, all my classrooms. But it just took me a few days, but I got used to it. It took me about a couple weeks, actually. It didn't take me a few days. It took me a couple weeks. I know I'm bouncing around, but sorry for that. So, in middle school, I met a lot of people. I played games. I joined clubs. I joined I joined a skateboard club. But middle school was definitely as boring as it was. The only thing exciting that happened was that I was always able to go onto the computers after lunch. After I ate lunch, I made friends with the principal and vice principal. Oh, actually, I just remembered. I was actually the mascot of the school. The Spring Valley Stingers. That's what we call ourselves. And I was actually a giant bumblebee. Well, a giant stinger, actually. It was actually the coolest thing I ever did. It was fun. I have to admit. It was absolutely fun. A lot of people actually knew who I was underneath that. A lot of people actually did know who I was underneath that because I would always leave before the assembly. I joined a karaoke club in middle school. I joined the tech, like the tech people that would set up the assembly and everything. That was actually kind of fun as well. I also had to go through an anger management class because I accidentally kept getting into trouble in middle school. And what I mean by trouble, I mean like I had to go to some place called the cubicle, and I would always get into trouble. I had so much anger back in middle school; it was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't realize it. I thought I was always this kind, caring person that I always was, but the teacher saw it and sent me to anger management. I passed the anger management classes, that's for sure. But since of my learning disability, I had to. I literally had to, like, what's it called? I didn't put it in to perspective, like apply them to life. I just didn't realize that I needed to apply these, but it's better late than never. That's for sure. Better late than never. Anyways, over time, I hit somebody with my trumpet. I dialed 911 to school. I did a lot of stupid crap. I stole a cone from the school. I never ate lunch at the school because the Super Duty that was watching to see disability kids told me that I had to eat lunch before I went on the computer. So I just stopped bringing lunch altogether because what was more important to me, the more important thing was to go on the computer and just play Neopets or just hang out with some of the disability kids. I barely had any friends back then. Didn't have very much people to talk to. I was antisocial. So thinking about it now, actually, it kind of brings me to tears a little bit. But it was what it is. And I wish I was more social back then than I am now. But would have changed my life a little bit. But oh well. I went skiing. In middle school. I was skiing. I learned it from my grandparents. We went skiing every year. And I almost hit a tree when I was a kid, like quite literally. Like, wow, was my life ever horrible? Anyway, in middle school, me and my friend. This was in the summertime, and it was back in June, I got my first pool. It was one of those fast set pools where you blow up the ring and just put water in and it will expand. Apparently, these fast set pools actually had a sharp bottom. And I still have the scar today. I don't know if you guys are able to see this, but it starts from right here and goes all the way down here. Me and my friend were roughhousing in the pool, dunking each other underneath the water. It was still fun to this day. But looking back at it now, it was the stupidest thing we ever did. But it was still fun. We were kids. We didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was underneath the water. I was struggling underneath the water. And at the edge of the pool, I hit a sharp edge. And I scraped. And I opened up this wound. And stupid thing was, I was able to see the muscle and a little bit of the bone. So yeah, I believe that would be kind of gross for you guys, but it was a mental image. I did not. I wish I would have. Forgot. So no stitches. Surprisingly, I didn't want stitches. Never had stitches. The only stitches I had were in my mouth, and that was it. I'll tell you guys that later. So I know this is actually about almost an hour, but I want to tell you guys the whole story. So back in middle school, it was fun. I have to admit, it was pretty fun. I went to Disneyland with my family. Me and my family all went to Disneyland, and me, my grandma, grandpa, my dad, my brother, my two brothers, we all went to Disneyland. So that was very fun. That was a very fun year for what I had. Back in middle school, I had woodwork. I made myself candles. I made myself I learned how to sew. I learned how to cook. I learned how to do electricity. Literally, the teachers would set up a little room kind of thing. Well, not like this, but like a bare, like this open wood area where you've seen buildings with just the wood inside, right? Basically like that. And we would learn how to install a light, how to plug it in and turn on the switch and make sure we don't electrify us and everything like that. So it was fun. We made a lot of woodworking. We had a lot of woodworking stuff. It was actually, I have to admit, it was pretty fun. After middle school was fun. I made some friends, but I don't see them to this day. But they were they are friends to this day, no matter what. An hour of this, and God, I cracked my neck. Anyways, back to the story. I was in high school now. I'm in high school now. And I started doing metalwork. Started doing more woodwork. Started to get more into trouble. I was a teenager. Of course I was going to get into trouble. I volunteered
for a lot of other. I volunteered for a lot of things as well in high school. I worked in the school cafeteria. I worked in the school's what's it called? Corner store. Like the corner store would sell slushies, licorice, candy, pop, lunch. If I remember correctly, we sold chips. Did I say chips already? Oh well. We sold a lot. The corner store stole a lot of stuff. They would even cook your meals for you as well. The cafeteria was definitely a cool sensation, I have to admit. I started learning to do computer work in high school. And I learned how to do video editing, which I show you, what you guys see now. I literally did tons of things in high school that would lead up to my life today. Like, I wish I started my YouTube account back in high school. That way I would have been able to do a lot of stuff. I did animations, computer animations. That's why I'm doing the animation today, because what I've learned in high school, I'm just applying it to what I did on that day. I'm back in high school. Let's see. Anything else I need to say about high school? Oh, I actually met back in high school. Back in grade 10, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Leonora. She was actually just a summer girlfriend kind of thing. We broke up after the summer because she had to move away. Me and Brian were literally in high school. We were literally just always hanging out. We would always be together. We would always hang out with each other. Lunch break and after school, we would always hang out. We were like the two musketeers kind of thing. Two peas in a pod. We also added a few other people called Zolt. Their names were Zolt and Chad, if I remember correctly. These two guys would always be with us. Zolt was an emo guy back then. I barely see him anymore. I still talk to his sister, which was my ex-girl. It's now my ex-girlfriend, but my ex-girlfriend. But we would always talk. Me and Leonora still talk to this day. And yeah, Chad, I don't know what he's doing anymore. But I just don't talk to him anymore. I stopped skiing after high school. During high school, I stopped skiing because no one would take me or my brothers anymore because my dad would always work. My grandpa was starting to lose it in the knees. My grandma was getting her knees. Well, her knees were getting bad too. So we kind of stopped going skiing. I would always go to the resource room and hang out there as well after grade 11. I'm trying to think what else I did in high school. High school was definitely... I would always go on time. I would always be there for high school and everything. And I was no one was picking on me there. Everyone had their own area. High school was actually a breeze. It was middle school and elementary school that was more exciting. High school, I would learn Cisco level 1, like networking. I learned how to I learned how to do networking, like make my own Ethernet, how to cross. I know how to cross. I believe I have to remember what this word is. Cross networking. Yes, that's the word. Cross networking, where you take two computers and link them together, kind of to make a server kind of thing. I learned how to do that. Computer animations, computer programming. I learned all that in high school, including video editing, which I showed you guys one of my videos a while ago. One of my first videos I ever made, which kind of led me up to YouTube to this day. Back in high school, I had a girlfriend as well. Her name was Jody. Her name was Jody Holmrook. We would actually be together a lot. I'm kind of ashamed about saying this. We had like little fights and everything, but I was in love with her. I was in love with her a lot. She hit my back. I hit my head on the when she came up to me one day and she accidentally pushed me. I hit the back of my head, and I kind of lost some of my memory back then, but I regained it after a week. That was a tough week for me, that's for sure. And even it was tough for my girlfriend too. It was tough for me and Jody because Jody had to explain everything that we were together, and I fell in love with her again. And when I regained my memory, I was in love with her more. She took care of me, and that's what was important. We dated for 9 months, all throughout high school, and we only dated for 9 months through high school, and then she broke it off. We had a secret relationship. We kept it for her parents. We had to keep it from my parents as well, but we had a really good relationship. It was absolutely cool. My life was happy back then. Let's see if I can remember what else I have to say here. I think that will be it for my school days. Actually, back in my school days, someone back then named Bobby. I can't remember what his last name was, but his name was Bobby. I remember her name being Bobby. And he taught me how to pronounce some of these words. Sup. And he would teach me like a lot of things, like how to be cool and everything. It was actually absolutely amazing how these guys would take their time just to teach me how to be cool, which actually I was cool back then. But here's the one thing that surprises everyone. I never smoked. I never smoked in my life. It was because of my grandfather that he smoked, and if he was still living today, I would probably be smoking. But if he didn't die of cancer from smoking, then my smoking I would be who I am today. Clean guy and everything. Anyways, after me and Jody broke up, I was devastated a little bit. But me and her stayed friends. We would stay friends. I was okay with that. Right after high school, me and Jody would be hanging out. Brian Jones kind of moved away after that. He moved to Castlegar, and we just barely saw each other a little bit. I was upset about that, but we tried and communicate, but it was just tough. I got a job at Cooper's Foods. I got fired after that because I just couldn't stay focused. But that was back then, and this is today, and I can still focus today. I am absolutely better today than I was back then. I would always get in trouble with I was still getting in trouble, actually. I had a job after Cooper's. I got a job named Papa Murphy's. I would do the prep. We would always take turns. Like Papa Murphy's, we would always take turns. It's like one day you're on the line, one day you're working in the back, one day you're on the phone, one day you're the register. We would always take turns, and we would never ever like stay at one station all the time. Oh, and one person would wrap the pizza. So it was actually like a line kind of thing. It was actually cool. And someone made the dough. So we always had a job. We always had something to do. It was go kind of thing. It was absolutely cool. It was it was very organized, but due to budget, they had to let me go. I was a part-timer, and they got rid of the part-timer. So I was kind of upset about that. So I went to go. So I signed up for disability from the government because I was clarified for a disability. I was able to. I was granted disability from the government, which got me into a whole bunch of other stuff, like Special Olympics, a job finding a place called TIER, which is a social service which helps people find jobs, and I don't know what else they actually do, to be honest. What they do is that they can bring all of us together for like a movie day or man cave and a lot of other stuff, which is absolutely kind of cool. That's the last of it. My throat's just getting dry. So I had a few tier people. I had some workers, so I'm gonna call them workers. This guy named Sean, he was a worker that got me a job at a pizza place called Canadian 2 for 1. I worked there for a good year, I believe. Yeah, a good year. I was part-time. I was stuck in a routine kind of thing. I would always make the sauce, cut the meat, make the dough, do the dishes, make the lettuce, make the salad, make a whole bunch of stuff. Do the pop, do everything. I would never work up front. I would never work the line. I was starting to I was starting to get where I would be able to work the line. I was almost getting there. I was being trained for it. Was being trained just to make the pizza too, and budget. It was a tough year as well for that, and we were starting to slow down. It was starting to slow down really bad, so they had to let me go. It was okay. It was okay. After that, I had no job for a while, but I still had my disability money, so I was able to pay for my car's payments and also what's it called? My gas and everything. I had a paper route for 9 years. I forgot to mention that. I had a paper route for 9 years since middle school. I totally forgot about that. What else should I say? During the days of my work for Canadian 241, I had another girlfriend named Natasha. We dated for a good 3 months, and I forgot my medication one day, and she saw who I really was, and she just dumped me. Like, that was tough. Like, she was disability too, and she just like, no. Sorry, you're too crazy. I'm just gonna leave you. That was actually really tough. Because no one should be judged like that. Me and Jody and a guy named Justin Malachuk would be good friends for a long time after high school. I forgot to mention about Justin Malachuk. He has problems in the spine where his legs barely walked for him, and him and Jody would date for a while, for 4 years. But I'm not going to mention that because I believe she's going to watch this video. And I hope she understands my life. Over time, after I got fired from my job, Tier found me a new job in the spring called Orchard Greens. It was actually pretty cool. I got to work on a golf course. That was amazing. And it was a good job. I had discount on food. I could go golfing for free, and I would be able to bring bring like a golf buddy, and we would golf for free. During my job, though, I would go around, pick up cans, clean up the garbage, make sure there's no garbage on the on the ground. Like, you would not believe the stuff I found. Quite literally, one time I found a condom in the parking lot. It was just like, what the fuck? Why here? Like, what the hell? Like, it was a restaurant. It was a restaurant and a golf course. So why would you do that? But it was funny as hell. Some things you would not believe that I found. All the golf balls that I would find on the golf course, I would be able to keep. So I literally have a huge bag full of golf balls. Like, quite literally. I literally have a huge amount of golf balls in my and somewhere somewhere I have a huge amount of golf balls someplace. I have to find it. Actually, I know exactly where it is. Hold on, guys. I want to show you how big these how big this bag is. Well, actually, that's kind of disappointing. I don't know where it went. But I do have this. It's kind of this basket I brought to work, and would put all the golf balls that I would find in there. And then I would put them in a bag. Then I take them home, put them in a bag, and I would just take it home and use them. Like, you would not believe the golf balls I find. Like, I found like trademark ones. See? Trademark ones. I don't know if you guys can read that well. No, you guys can't read that. And I found an HP one. I know I have like a Vancouver Canucks one in here. Hawaii. Here's the Vancouver Canucks one. So, like I said, you would not believe the balls that I have found in the while it was working. There. So anyway, I would work there for a good 3 to 4 years, and every day I come home smelling like shit because. Here's the stupid thing. I had to pick up the beer cans, and also had to separate them into bags, and I had to make sure I keep a number count, and I always had to be watched. Always had to be watched after this job. So I was always watched. I had to clean the. Here was the routine I had to go through. In the morning, I get up at 6 o'clock. Be there by 7. Had to be there by 7. Make sure I did, because I had to be there when someone got there. And then afterwards, I would go up to the storage area, grab a leaf blower, and just blow the parking lot full off of dust. Make sure that the parking lot was nice and clean for the guest. That would take me a good 30 to 20 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes, depending how dirty it was. And then after that, I had to clean the patio. Had to blow the patio, make sure that I swept up the patio. I found an easier way. I literally blew the patio as well. I blew the patio, and I had to put the tables the way they were supposed to be, the chairs, everything. I had to do all that, and it was tough because all the chairs were put every night. The chairs were put away. The tables were flipped upside down. They were on top of each other just to be put away. There would be I'll use these 2 cans. These 2 cans I'll represent as tables. One table would be like this. The other table would be like that, and it would be stored away to an area. So. Yeah, that was actually really tough. So that was the morning routine. The patio would take me a good 20 minutes just to do, as well, because I also had to clean out the leaves. Sometimes I would have to power wash it. I had to clean off I had to sweep I had to sweep a whole bunch. I had to sweep the doorway. I had to sweep all the leaves and dirt that fell off the wall. I had to clean out the ashtrays. It was gross. It was dirty work, but it was my dirty work. Some days I would have to go rake up the what's it called? Rake the bunkers and power wash wash the carts. It was okay work. I have to admit, it was okay work. Some days, but the routine went like this: parking lot, patio, front door, go onto the green, pick up every bottle, every can, change out the trash bags, change out the garbage bags, change out the trash bags, and change out the recycling bags. Make sure it's all good, because if I don't change out the recycling bags, it would smell like beer, and we do not want that. Some days I would have to dump the water out of the trash bags, and it stunk. It literally made me gag. It was just a tough job, but it was actually a good job. Good pay, good job. It was not bad. I forgot to mention, I also had a job before that, a year before that. I totally forgot about this. I thought Orchard Greens was right after Canadian 2-for-1. But no, I had a job for 1 year only, and it was Valley Mitsubishi. I would clean every 3 days a week, I would wash the cars. I had a scrub, hose, and a towel and a squeegee. That was it. A squeegee, tub, scrubber, and the hose. That was it. And I would go and wash the cars, each car. But that was a year, and that lasted this spring to fall. That was it. And that was actually good times for me. But the reason why it only lasted a year, because it was only a seasonal job, and they found someone else the year after. I was going to go back, but after that, we found another job, and it was Orchard Greens. So I worked at Orchard Greens with that kind of routine. It was a seasonal job, but they always kept me going every year. It was actually a really good job. I have to admit, it was really good. The job that I had to do was it was tough during wintertime, because no, it wasn't tough during wintertime. It wasn't seasonal. They asked me to come in on some days and just push, get the snow off the patio, and make sure that they asked me to literally push all the snow off the driveway as well, which is the parking lot, and that was just so ridiculously heavy. Basically, my driveway basically doesn't compare to what I had done, I have to admit. So that was actually tough and stinky for the last few years. I would always have to do my routine that would always last. Sort of during the winter time, it would last me 3 hours. Whereas the summertime, it would last me until noon. So, yeah, it was actually a very tough year for me. During the time of my job there, I started to get into something called Special Olympics. I started doing Special Olympics. Special Olympics is something for disability people where you can actually go and compete with other disability people. It was actually very fun. I have to admit, it was actually fun. I got a couple of medals, ribbons, and a patch. That was it. I did Special Olympics curling, which I got a medal in for provincial. Like for the province, I was silver. I would always be second place. I didn't become first place at all. I did Special Olympics skiing, which I became first place in, but because of my misbehaving and rule breaking, I got kicked off the team. I could have gone further. I could have gone to nationals with skiing, but I don't know if I'm allowed back right now. I have to ask. I have to ask who's in charge just to see if I'm allowed back at skiing. So I did Special Olympics curling, skiing. I did those for a long time. I would always hang out with my friend Jody. I would always hang out with my friend Justin. They would always date, and we would always hang out with each other. I had my car back then, so we would actually get back and forth with each other, and other stuff. It was actually a good life for me. After a while, my friend Brian Jones came back. We had a really good life. We both compared notes for each other. We both explained what we did, how our family is, what we did after high school, and it was fun. It was he had a job in Castlegar. I cannot remember what the job was. It was a few years ago, so I can't remember what he had, what kind of job he had. Back in 2010, I uploaded the video, which you guys know, and I started doing YouTube a few years after that. I didn't do any vlogs very much because I didn't know how you guys would feel about my life. So afterwards, I would do videos here and there. That's why I have that many videos for 7 years, kind of thing. Anyways, I'm getting too far ahead now. I told him, me and Brian would catch up. I told him all my medals and all the success I had for my jobs throughout my years. I guess I did have a pretty good life. Looking back now, it actually looks pretty cool. Special Olympics, like I said, I became second place, a silver medal out of a whole bunch, out of 20 teams that came to Special Olympics. I met a guy named Jonathan McDonald. He was actually a really good friend. He's a really good friend of mine. I met him through a party, and we don't hang out very much, but we do. But we hung out after we start hanging out after curling. Like, what I mean by that, I mean like after I started Special Olympics curling, we would start hanging out. I was kind of a anti-social kind of person. I would always hang out with people online. When I started doing Minecraft videos, I had a few of my friends on Xbox doing that. I still have the type of technology. Trying to unplug it here, and I knocked over the cans that I had. I bought this equipment here to record for you guys from Minecraft. So that actually came into focus. And I was starting to get really positive feedback from you guys, which actually became amazing. I started going from Minecraft Xbox 360 edition to Minecraft PC edition afterwards, and yeah, I was doing that with my job at Orchard Greens and with my activities, I have to say, for Special Olympics. So I've been quite busy throughout my life so far. So over time, Justin and Jody broke up, and then we started going out again, and we kind of, this is back in 2013, I believe it was, we would start going out again, and we were really happy. I was really happy. I had a girlfriend. I had a successful job. And yeah, so afterward, in the middle of that, I started working with my father, which works with Canada Bread. So he bought a second route back then, and he needed some help. So I started to help him. And I just couldn't go from one job to another job. I was exhausted. So I put my 2 weeks in, and I just told him I couldn't do this job anymore and I'm gonna go help with my father. After a while, that was kind of a bad decision for me. I should have said no. I should have just said no and stayed with the job I had. But I guess I felt like I was stuck in a routine, which now looking back at it today, it just was actually, I was really happy back then. So anyway, back when I started doing my job, I was driving a truck. I would have my own route, and I had my own computer. So I started doing that more and more. Me and Jody were really happy for the last for months. We were happy until a post came out, and we started fighting back. We started fighting. I really didn't like how she was doing that, but I seen her worst days and seen her better days. But anyways, I will always be there. I always been there for her, and I always will. So after that, I noticed that my memories were starting to go. Back basically 3 to 4 years ago today, I noticed that some of my memories are missing. That's why I'm making this video. I'm noticing my memories are starting to go. and I'm scared that if I keep letting it go, I'm gonna lose all my memories. So a few weeks ago, I started to, actually a while ago, I started to make sure that I would always have videos and pictures of the past, so I can still remember and everything. But I'm noticing today that it's getting worse. So yeah. Anyways, I didn't tell anybody that because I thought it was like, oh, it's just memory that just going. It's no big whoop. Anyways, I just started to. Me and Jody we were happy. We would. I would take her out to pretty cool places and a lot of other places as well. And then one day I just blew up. And I didn't mean it. I still regret it to this day. I was tired of my life. I was just getting more and more frustrated. It was just right after work and right after everything. That was right after I quit my job at Orchard Greens and started working for my dad that I was getting more and more frustrated. That I got into a job that I didn't want. That I got into that I was in a relationship that would sometimes fight or sometimes would be happy. I was getting tired of it, and I just blew up in front of her. The cops were called. I was throwing stuff in my car. I scared her so bad that she dumped me. I was really devastated. That's back in 2015 that we stopped dating. That's why I made that one video back when I said goodbye for a while, because I was really upset from the breakup. Still upset to this day, but I'm over it. It is what it is. She's not going to come back. I don't think she'll ever come back to me. So we still hang out. We still hung out, but it just didn't work out. So we just stopped seeing each other for a while. We were secretly seeing each other. Her mom didn't want anything to do with me anymore. Her mom didn't want her to see me anymore. So that was actually really tough for me as well. And yeah. So the last few years I've been hanging out with Dan, Killer, Ashton, Luna, and they would support me throughout the years. I was actually happy that I had that I had my friends. I had so many friends that were helping me throughout the years that I didn't realize it until now. And thinking about it today, I'm happy. I'm happy that I had my friends. I'm happy that I had this life. My life was good. It was tough. It was painful. But it was good. After the breakup, I went through anger management. I went through counseling. I went through a whole bunch of shit. I went through anger support, where this guys get together and just talk about what happened, what's going on with what happened in the week, and what's going on with what happened through their life. It was actually a tough few years for me. I went to go see her one time and got her in trouble with her mom, and this is during my brother's birthday. One of my brother's birthdays. And I ran off. I went to go see her mom and told her that it was all my fault and everything. And she said, "Okay, fine, just go. Doesn't matter. Just go. Please leave." And I ran off. Put my wallet on her car, and that was the stupidest thing I ever did. Ran off, and a few hours later, the cops were looking for me. My parents, my grandparents, my mom and dad were looking for me. It was actually just tough. The last 2 years were just tough for me. So I started holding back all these tears. And then finally, this year, Jody came back. As not my girlfriend, but as a friend. She was dating someone else. I was upset about it, but it was okay. But for the last little while, we were really good. We were doing really good until not too long ago, where we had a big fight. She bit my arm and left some bruises on me, but it was fine. We're not seeing each other anymore. We're not hanging out. But that's basically my entire life. Telling my whole story to you guys actually feels good. At least you get to know who the hell I am. I had only 3 girlfriends. I had a really good, really successful, really tough school year. I was a grade C. I was a C average student. That's because of my disability and everything. And you know what? I don't regret anything in my life. Well, except for a lot of things still today. But looking back at it now, there's a lot of things that could have changed. There's a lot of things that I could have prevented. And there was a lot of things that happened. But that was my life. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with my life, the way I had my life. I had a paper route for 9 years. I had successful jobs. I had a really good life. And I hope you guys understand. And basically, thank you for listening for a good hour and 43 minutes. I really enjoy you guys, his company. And I really appreciate you guys actually listening to my story. So, I'm not hiding my name no more. I wasn't hiding my name at all. I just never introduced myself like I did now. Again, hello my fellow Earth hitters. My name is Dale Booth. And I hope you guys actually enjoyed my life. An 8,000 subscriber special. I love you all. I really do. Thank you for being there throughout my life. And I will never forget any one of you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.